Now, joining me to discuss this morning is Aliogo Ugochukwu, a features correspondent at our sister broadcast company, ThisDay newspapers. Hi, Ugo, and welcome back to the Global Business Report. We haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Now, can you tell us what some of the opportunities are for investing in a blue economy?
Yeah, before going into the opportunities, there's need to establish a definition of blue economy. Blue economy is the management and effective sustainability of ocean resources for economic gains. So it goes beyond looking at the market opportunities to preserving ocean resources, because they face challenges of pollution, they face challenges of depletion because of heavy overfishing, and they face challenges of destruction of the ecosystem because of man's unwholesome activity. Then the opportunities for investment, we'll have maritime transport, we'll have sports activities, then we'll have other opportunities that are there for investment. For maritime transportation, it has to do with ferry services, then it has to do with movement of goods and people from one place to another. So for maritime transport, for some coastal cities in some coastal states in Nigeria, ferry services will play a key role in driving transport across those coastal areas, and that will contribute to the IGRO of those states. So then for transport, the other part of it has to do with ports, port development and port investment. So if we have, for instance, a port in Warri or a port in River State, then it will open up the economic corridors of River State, Bayelsa, Cross River for development. So the over-reliance on Apapa port will reduce. So we'll have a port in the south taking care of the economic corridors of Onitsha, Bayelsa, Rivers, and Cross River States. Then the River Niger will become a hub. It will encourage government to dredge the River Niger, allow bigger vessels to pass. So that's one opportunity that Nigeria can tap into. Then we also look at the issue of sporting activities, coastal tourism. In Kenya, for instance, tourism is the second largest foreign exchange area for the Kenyan economy. And one of their tourist potential is their beaches. We have beaches across Lagos that we can invest in and drive tourism. It can bring a lot of revenue to Lagos State as a coastal state and other coastal communities. Then we also have fishing. It's also a potential in blue economy. So for some coastal communities across Nigeria that are into fishing, take, for instance, Lagos State. For instance, we have Ekpe. Ekpe is a community in Lagos State that's predominantly into fishing. That is one of their economic strengths in Ekpe. So a private sector investor can establish a fishing processing facility in Ekpe, and that would drive a lot of investment in that area. It will create jobs for the technically skilled, the semi-skilled, and the unskilled. So it will help us cut down our heavy reliance on imported fishes. And we're now going to fish export and also produce for the local market. So Dangote located the cement facility in Okpila, Edo State. One of the reasons why he located the cement facilities in Okpila, Edo State, is that Okpila has a rich deposit in limestone. So proximity to raw material, simple economics, proximity to raw materials would help you reduce cost of production. So if you have a fishing facility a fishing processing facility in Ekpe, it will create a lot of jobs. It will provide revenue to Lagos State government. It will increase the IGRO of Lagos State, and it will help expand the economy of Lagos State.
Well, wow. Well, you did mention a lot of opportunities there around transport, ports, fishing, to create jobs, and of course to bring in more finances into the economy. Now, what about the challenges that are facing a blue economy? What are some of those?
One of the challenges facing blue economy is over-exploitation of marine resources. So one of that has to do with heavy fishing. There's need to regulate the way we fish in some of these coastal communities. It's not regulated. So most people go into these communities, they are involved in heavy fishing, which causes depletion of ocean resources. It needs to be checkmated. In developed societies, they raise up campaigns to protect marine wildlife. They raise up campaigns to protect marine resources. Because if it goes into extinction, what will we have for the future? Then another thing has to do with the unwholesome activities of man. If you go to Elegushi, for instance, Elegushi Beach, for instance, you see the heap of refuse that come out from Elegushi. It's a big challenge for marine economy. It's a big challenge for blue economy. It's a big challenge for marine wildlife. So we have to curtail those activities and ensure that we protect marine resources. So that's another challenge. Then the other challenge has to do with strategic development. We don't have strategic development growth plan for marine resources. So I go back to the other point where I talked about a fishing facility. So we have coastal states across Nigeria. Then in those coastal states, there are fishing communities. What is government doing? What's the private sector doing to establish fishing facilities to see how they can drive growth across the value chain, the fishing value chain? So we have people who are into fishing, but what they do, they are into local processing. We can improve the processing, we can improve handling, we can improve packaging. So we look at locating fishing facilities in some of these coastal communities as a way of having a strategic development growth plan. We can also look at tourism. These are development growth plans we can have for the blue economy sector in our country.
Wow, well, some of these challenges that you even mentioned still turn out to be opportunities at the end of the day, of course, with strategic development, reducing pollution. All those challenges can even actually provide jobs and still bring more money. Now, what is the way forward?
The way forward, we'll have to build first. We'll have to have a strategic development group plan for marine resources. We'll have to reduce we have to reduce the unwholesome activities such as pollution. There's a lot of pollution. There are activities that we involve in that destroy the ecosystem of the blue economy. So we'll have to do some of those activities. Then government have to play a key role. We'll have to look at cutting down on imported fishes and look at how we can invest. Look at how we can build a fishing facility in some of these coastal communities, create jobs for the skilled, for the technically skilled, the semi-skilled, and the unskilled. Then we'll have to look at revenue streams of income. How do we generate money from this? How do we generate money from the sector? Then we'll have to look at how to position our maritime sector to be able to compete globally, because there are challenges along the sector. So a particular government leaves, a new government enters. These challenges are not addressed. We'll have a lot of policy framework on how to develop the sector, but the challenge is implementation is key, and we do not carry on with those policies. So the present MPA MD leaves. She has policy blueprints on how to develop the sector. The new one enters. He or she come up with their own. They do not continue with it. So we'll have challenges. We'll have policies that are lopsided. We'll have lump sum policies. We'll have a lot of policy frameworks. Implementation is key. And we do not build on what the predecessors have left behind. So we need to have a strategic plan. Then we'll review in 4 years, in 3 years, how far have we gone? Internationally, are we meeting up to standard?
I know earlier you had mentioned the private sector. So are you saying okay, so the responsibility lies with both the public and the
private sector have to play a key role. So I talked about having a fishing facility, and I made reference to the Dangote issue. So we'll have a fishing facility in Ekpe. It will provide jobs. It will increase IGR. So the private sector needs to play a key role in this. There needs to be private sector players to invest in the economy.
Ugo, thank you so much for joining me today to discuss this. I've been talking to ThisDay Features correspondent Ugochukwu Aliogo.